We are live. No, we're not. I gotta stop saying that. We are not live. This is recorded. It's not edited, but it's recorded. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Retro Hoop Collectibles. This is we're getting to a point to where we're gonna start, doing more of this kind of podcast, long format type stuff. And we'll try to do it at least once a week. We're gonna do it at least once a week. And then we'll rotate in some guests and all that kind of stuff to talk and chat and all that good jazz. So last week we had Mike from Bench Clear Media talking about the what's going to be the record-setting card here pretty soon. And then this week we got my man JD from Card Hedge back in the house. What's up, brother?
Right. What's up, man? How you doing?
Oh, kids drive me crazy, bro.
Oh, dude.
School just started. Baseball just started. Soccer's about to start. Jiu-jitsu's about to get started. It's a madhouse over here, man. Absolute madhouse.
Oh, God. I feel your pain, man. Soccer just started tonight for one of my daughter's teams.
Oh,
she's
nice.
on 2 teams.
Nice. Wait, you're one daughter, 2 teams?
I have 4 kids. So my one daughter is on 2 teams. Wow. And then she dances competitively. Then my other oldest daughter is on a travel softball team. Wow. Then my other daughter is now on a travel volleyball team. And my son is 5 and just started playing soccer. He thinks he's Cristiano Ronaldo. So, yeah. So we are, man. And then I got to work in between those,
Exactly. You got to work to pay for all that crap.
Yeah, I got to work to. And everything comes due at once, too. They're like,
exactly.
Right, your fees are due immediately. I'm no, they're not.
Yeah, fees are due, shoes, cleats. Yep. I mean, the whole 9. It's
bats. I bought a T-ball bat for my son this year. He really wanted one, and everything we had. I didn't get him one last year because I wanted to make sure he actually even liked baseball.
Exactly.
I'll
tell you a story.
So I didn't buy him one last year. He used the league bats, and they were beat to shit and whatever else. So I was like, yeah. So this year I go to buy him one. I take him to Dick's. We go in, and I'm like, all right, I'm $25. I'll be in and out of here. Dude, the cheapest T-ball bat was $85.
$79.99, baby.
I was like, what in the hell? I'm like, this thing better launch bombs for this kid. You know what I mean? $80. I went up to the counter. I was like, man, $80 for a T-ball bat? You people are on glue.
But
on glue. Like a dope. I bought it. So whatever.
So check this out. So my son's been playing since 5U or 4U actually. And I was in the same boat. Went to Academy, bought the $29.99, just whatever junk was there. I didn't really care. And as he progressed, he got into 5U, then 6U, and in 6U, he was having really hard time hitting. I mean, he just went on a complete slump. He was one of the best hitters, one of the better hitters of the team, and then he just went on this slump where he just couldn't. I mean, he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
Yeah.
And I talked to one of the coaches that was there was also a high school coach, and his son was playing. And he goes, listen, man, he goes, I don't like to tell parents this, but I had a good rapport with him. He's like, I don't like to tell parents this. He goes, but that bat that he has is not doing him any favors. So I tell him, all right, man, look, tell me what to do, because he was really distraught because my son loves playing baseball. He wasn't having no fun because he wasn't hitting anything. Yeah. And I go, hey, man, I said, what do I need to do? You tell me. I'm telling the coach, I'm like, you tell me what I need to do. You tell me what I need to buy, and I'll buy it. And so he goes, all right, man. He goes, here's what you need. You need a 26 in, You need a drop 10 bat. I said, okay, cool. Go to Dick's. I get in there, and I'm looking around at the bats, and I noticed one of the bats that one of the other kids had, and I was like, oh, that one's cool. What is this? Cat 9. Okay, yeah, that'll work. Let's go. I grabbed the bat. I'm thinking, JD, that thing can't be more than $75. I'm like, whatever. You know what I mean? If it's gonna get my kid hitting, it is. Dude, we get up to the counter. It was $200 for a freaking bat.
Yeah.
And I told my wife, I was like, are we really about to do this? Like we had to kind of step back. I was like, hey, well, hold on, champ. Let me, let's go back to the thing and see if we can't find something else and this, that, and that. And we just couldn't. And I'm calling my sister-in-law, whose son plays, varsity baseball. And I was like, hey, I'm about to spend $189 on this bat. Is this really gonna help? And he was like, yeah, man, trust me, dude. That's like a top of the line bat. It's gonna help with. I was like, all right, screw it. And I'm thinking to myself, he's gonna use this bat for the next 3 or 4 years. Dude, as soon as he
Yeah.
goes out there, first game, bombs one into like left field, and I was
Nice.
like, "All right," I was like,
That's
"All right,
$189 well spent, baby.
dude." And he used it 6U, 7U, and then he's using it this year too. So we're getting miles out of that damn bat. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, that's the other thing too. They get you with youth sports, man. Is your kids grow all of a sudden,
Right.
and you're like, oh, I'll get a couple years out of this, and then every
No.
season you're buying crap, and you're like, man, what is going on here?
Yeah. And we actually just got out there for his first practice of this season in 8U, and the I can tell now that I know, right? Now that I learned, I can tell the bat's a little short for him, so we might have to go up and get him another one. But Goodwill's another good place too. Don't sleep on Goodwill for bats.
Oh yeah.
I found a Cat 8 bat at Goodwill, and I looked it up, and originally MSRP was like $350 for that bat. They had it at Goodwill for $10.
Oh, nice.
And I was like,
yeah, but did it have any pop in it?
No, it was good. It looked brand new.
Oh, all right.
Like maybe they had used it for like a season or something. Yeah, I was like, hell yeah, man, I'll take this.
Score one for all the dads watching this.
There you go.
Son of a bitch, I spent $350 on my bat.
Hey, let me tell you something. Every single helmet that I bought for both of my kids, both of my boys playing baseball, every single helmet, we bought it at Goodwill.
Really? See, now that's where
$5.
That's where I buy brand new, because I get sketched the hell out on what grimy kid wore that helmet.
Hey, Lysol, baby.
I don't even know, like bleach, Lysol, like, you know what I mean, like napalm, like it's just that gives me the skis, man. I used to work with a guy who used to buy used shoes, and I was like, dude, like this guy had a good job, and I'm like, listen, man, like I know you don't need to go get a pair of Jordans, but like, can you get a pair of like New Balance that are brand new? They're like $50.
Some new stuff.
Nah, man, I get used shoes. I'm like, bro, anyway.
Oh man, good stuff. So what I wanted to talk to you about, you guys posted recently. I don't know if it was. Listen, you got me on Twitter now. I tweet now. That's what I do.
Yep.
You know,
Twitter rules, man.
I was never on Twitter.
It's great. A couple words and you move on with your life.
Yeah, that's true. And I can actually, what I like about it, I mean, I could tag Panini on Instagram.
Yeah,
they'll see it, but like I can actually like tweet at Panini. It's like, hey man, you guys, the hell are you guys doing with these patches?
Yeah. What's up with the patches?
Yeah. But I saw that you guys posted the other day was here we go. Tatis.
Yes. Old Fernando Jr.
So Tatis is on the he's on the sauce, right?
Yeah. Is he on the sauce, or is it like,
or he got popped for it at least, right?
Yeah, he tested positive for something. I never even heard of whatever the hell he tested positive for.
What did he test positive for? Let's see.
It was like it honestly sounded like a friggin' cholesterol medicine, dude.
Let's see how he tested positive. So he tested positive. It just says PEDs. It doesn't say anything else.
Yeah, hang on. I'll grab it.
Steroids. Some kind of steroids. But I mean, listen, if it wasn't for clostebol.
Yeah, cholestebol or something like that.
Clostebol ended the 20. Yeah. What does
that even do?
I don't know. We're about to find out though. Clostebol, usually an ester clostebol acetate, is a synthetic anabolic energetic steroid. Yeah, so it's roids.
It is roids.
Yeah. This medication is not sold in the United States. It's a spray used to treat skin conditions, namely scars and burns. The anabolic steroid that Tatis tested positive for, an antibiotic, has two main ingredients. What? So this is like, it's for the skin.
So it's an antibiotic?
That's what it says, yeah.
So to me, like, right? So
Tatis's daddy is saying that cholesterol or whatever was in Junior's ringworm medication. And that's how he got it, which makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff, right? Like, I don't know the whole MLB policy on the PEDs. Like, I can't recite it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to me, like taking like I don't know, some type of roid that you'd see Ivan Drago pumping in Rocky 4, right? Like that to me is a steroid. And now I know there's all different kinds. I know there's pills, I know there's
Right.
sprays, there's juices, there's
Yeah,
all kinds of
there's the
ways around it,
injection right
right?
in the old butt.
Yep. So like, yeah, the famous B12. I thought they were B12 injections. Okay. Um, to me, like it's the MLB has to do more on this in a certain sense because if he legit had a doctor's prescription. Now the problem here is this stuff is not sold in
It's
the
not
US.
sold
Is
in the
that
US.
right?
Yeah.
So to me, like, buddy, what are you doing? You know
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Like I don't know. Like there's some responsibility on the MLB where like if you're taking like hormone therapy or something like that to
Mhm.
try to have kids with your wife or something, man, like either you get placed on like a non-active roster or something like they do in football. Like
Right,
not that football does that, but you know what I'm talking about, like or like the
right.
NA spot in your fantasy
Yeah,
lineup.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
and then like and when you're done and you test and when your body's clear of it, you can come back to play,
Come back.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But to me, on the flip side of that, the player also has a responsibility, right?
Absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
they're taking, he signed a massive deal with San Diego.
Yeah.
Um, and you
340
have to,
million.
right. So like when baseball no longer is a game you're playing with your buddies at like, in high school or even in college to some degree, once it becomes a business and a job, you have responsibilities as an employee to make sure you're not putting
Yeah.
anything in your body that you know what I mean? Like, and
Right.
especially something that comes from outside the US, to me, all you're doing at that point is basically like a big neon sign above your head, like,
You're
hey, test
you're
me. I'm gonna
asking for
pop
trouble.
positive.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you're asking for
Yep.
trouble. The
Yep.
UFC went through that exact same thing where they
Yep.
brought in USADA to test
Right.
all the fighters, and then they would offer counsel to the fighters to say like, "Hey, if you're gonna take supplements, I mean,
Yep.
if you guys are gonna take supplements, if you guys are gonna take medication, if you get sick, things like that, like use us as a resource to tell
Right.
you yes you can or no you can't according to the rules,
Right.
right? Like yeah, but yeah, I agree with you. There's some responsibility on the players for
There,
sure.
there's a lot, right? Like now, I obviously got my Bruins hat on. I'm a big Red Sox fan. I live in the Northeast, yada yada yada. And Pedro and Poppy are out here, like full on politicking for this guy, and like Ortiz, his name appeared on one of the lists back in like whatever it was, I don't know,
Uh-huh.
09, 010, something like that.
Yeah.
And Pedro, sometimes I just think he wants to protect his peeps. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
All right.
And Pedro's certainly not afraid to give his opinion on anything, right?
Right.
But like on the flip side, man, like I just go back to if you have a job and you're getting drug tested at your job, whether it's randomly, whether it's once a
Right.
month,
Right.
whatever, and then you willingly go out and buy something from outside the country, or you don't consult with a doctor or the team or your employer or whatever it
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
man, to me, you're just opening yourself up to what he has now, and he's got an 80-game
100%.
suspension.
Yeah,
You know,
100%. I've actually seen people we long time ago when I was working, we had a random drug test just pop up
yeah,
on us at work. And I remember I had this lady that she was working for me, and they said, "Hey, if you walk in the building, you got to take the test,
yeah,
right? If you don't walk in the building, then you just got lucky or whatever. But if you're in this building and you're an employee, you're going to take the test."
yeah,
And I remember she walks in and I had to tell everybody like, "Hey, put your stuff down, go straight to the cafeteria or
yeah,
whatever." And then she kind of looks at me and she goes, "Are they drug testing people today?" I go, "Yeah." She clipped off her badge and handed it to me. She's like, "I'm telling you right now, I'm not passing that test."
yeah,
I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah." She goes, "I'm not passing that test." And I was like, "Well, if you don't take it, I have to fire you on the spot, right? Like
right,
that's how it works. But if you take it and for some miracle of God, you pass it, then we don't have to have this conversation again. I was like, but like, you could possibly get randomly tested. So why would you? She's like,
Right.
She goes, I knew that. And that's a risk that I'm taking. She was like, I have a stressful job and I go home, I smoke some weed at the end of the day. So if you're really going to, like, if this is really what I got to do, she goes, I'm not passing this test. I go, well, look, just do me a favor. Take the test. Okay. And then we'll have the discussion later. And she's like, all right. Takes the test and she got popped and let her go.
So it goes back, right?
Though.
Yeah. When I used to ask this question when I was in the classroom, and I would ask this. I'd say, all right, you're a double A baseball player, and if I told you could take this drug and you would become you'd go to the majors and you'd sign, I just threw out a number, $100 million contract.
Yeah.
All you got to do is take this stuff and do a cycle of it and you're good to go. But on the flip side, if you don't take it, you're stuck in double A ball, riding a bus, making $1,200 a month for the rest of your life until you decide to hang it up and sell insurance. What are you going to do? Right now, obviously, I would change the questions around to, either really make the kids think or like, a lot of these guys, whether they're Dominican, whether they're American, whether they're from wherever, right?
Yeah.
A lot of them are coming from backgrounds or upbringings, man, that aren't now. Obviously, Tatis's dad was a pro ball player, so I'm sure he's got some cash.
Yeah. He wasn't hurt.
A lot of these kids, man, are coming up that grow up in absolute poverty, and that money, dude, it's a real low hanging fruit for them, and it's like the dilemma is real on a lot of this stuff,
absolutely.
Right? But the flip side of that too is like, guys have been taking stuff in the game of baseball since forever.
Yeah.
And they've changed, whether they were greenies back in the 50s to whatever they're taking. Nolan Ryan, dude, pitched for like 40 years.
Oh, easy now. You're talking about the king over here in Texas.
Listen, I love Nolan Ryan, but when he's 87 years old and he's still out there throwing 98
fucking 90 mile an hour
shit out of Robin Ventura and like all this, you know what I mean? Like, come on. Now, I'm not saying Nolan Ryan took roids, but like, obviously, man, like anybody that's played baseball ever and pitched, and you've pitched more than one inning or whatever, you know how sore your elbow and shoulder is for like days, right?
Yeah, there's a reason why there's a pitching rotation, right?
Yep. And it's like, now I get it. Like, obviously, Nolan Ryan was a Texan, so shout out to all my Texas people out there. You're just tougher than everybody else. I get it. But like obviously he was an anomaly. Like
he was.
So like, yeah, you can chalk that up. Like he was an anomaly. But like, come on, man. Like, let's be real, right? Baseball was saved by steroids.
Absolutely.
It's better with steroids. And I hate to say it because I love baseball, but like baseball without Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa hitting 20 home runs each a weekend, dude, that was the greatest ever.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I'm not even a baseball fan. And during that time, I was. Everybody
and their mother was watching that. Yeah. And like Bud Selig went like this. Oh, you're taking steroids? Hey, give me a double cheeseburger. And like they so it's like it's okay.
Yeah.
But then it's not okay, right?
Yeah.
And then like again, I just think in Tatis's situation at this point in life, man, with the internet and with everything that's out there, and I'm not saying to get your information off the internet, but certainly he has an agent. He has to have some type of circle, the team, a trainer, someone. Man, either homeboy got bad information or he's just a complete moron for buying something and taking something outside of the U.S. to treat whatever the hell he had, ringworm or whatever. I mean, like,
ringworm. I think
there has to be an FDA-approved drug to treat ringworm that doesn't contain anabolic steroids.
If there's ever a red flag for any of this stuff, it's not approved in the US. Like, red flag number one, right?
Yep.
And it's like, come on, man. Like, why would you put yourself in that spot? I mean, $340 million. They suspended that dude for 80 games.
Yep. And he doesn't get paid for all 80 games, right? So he's costing himself. I don't know what his game check is, but I'm assuming what is he making a year? Do we know
what was it? $340 million for don't know how many years it was.
14, I think.
Yeah. So 340
making
divided by
24.2 million
a year. Yeah. How many games in a season?
162. So he's making like
almost
300.
almost 150 grand a game. Is that right?
Yeah,
No.
maybe. I don't know. I'm not a math guy. Whatever it is, it's more
$1 million,
money than I make.
$1.4 million a game.
Yeah, $1.4 million a game. Yeah, so he's making, he's making more money a game. Like I remember when baseball salaries started to get really out of hand, and they used to break it down, and they'd be like, Roger Clemens was making $5,000 a strike, and I was like, damn. And like that was back in the '90s, and I was like, homeboy throws a lot of strikes. Like he's making a lot of money here. But like, I don't know, man. I look at it, and I ultimately think you're probably asking me, what do I think about his career or his cards or something like that? Is that what you want?
Yeah. So I mean, like that's obviously that's big news, right? And I mean that's gonna affect card prices.
Yep.
And in his case, so I'll bring up in his case, he was, down market is just down market, right? I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, he was hovering around $110, $120 for his base PSA 10, and then dropped all the way down to $80. I mean, just from one day to the next.
So a couple of things there, right? Because I'm looking at all the cards that are in here. Here's what I would say. This is America, right? And we are huge fans of an apology, and we forget about it and move on. Right? So he's going to go away for 80 games. You're not going to hear about him. And
when he comes back,
hopefully Juan Soto does his thing, right? And that further potentially drives down Tatis's market. But if you believe in the old American way of forgive and forget, it's going to present a nice buy moving for the next 6 to 8 months, because his cards values aren't going, they're not going to go bananas in the upward trajectory. He's not playing. He's not doing anything. So he's going to be suspended, going to be forgotten about. The Dodgers are probably going to kick their ass anyway, and they'll go home. But then maybe come spring ball next year, people are like, oh yeah, Tatis. But even then, he's still not going to play. So, but by June of next year, it could very well be a nice, you bought at $80 and they're back at 120.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I mean? Maybe.
Nice little flip.
There'll be, but I think on this case, it's tough, right? Because like baseball's got some interesting groups of fans, right? They got the purists that, all right, he took steroids, he's dead to me. I'm getting rid of everything.
Yeah.
Then you get people like myself that like I'm indifferent, like whatever, dude. Like you took roids, I'll see you in 8 months.
Yeah.
I was never a Tatis fan anyway. I like Juan Soto, but now they're on the same team. But and then you'll have like the young kids that like they don't know enough. You know what I mean? Like unless they're only hearing what their dad tells them or their brother or something or their buddy. So like if you like Tatis, I think for the next at least 8 months, you're going to have some pretty good buying opportunities to grab some of these cards that were in some of them extremely overpriced. I mean, the guy can't really stay healthy anyway. But now you're going to get him, I think, for pennies on the dollar. Do I think some of his stuff that's, like 15 grand, is it going to drop to like $100? No. But like the card you showed, like the Topps Chrome, like these cards are just going to continue to drop. Like this Topps Chrome 203 rookie, it's at 92 right now, and a PSA 10. That probably drops to a $50-$40 card.
Once he gets into his suspension, right, and people forget about him, and he doesn't.
And then it becomes there's already a ton of them out there for people to buy, right? So it goes back to that whole like you got to be careful what you're doing with these new cards because there's just so many of them that what's really a solid buy, right? If you're
Right.
just buying Tatis because you collect Tatis, you're a Tatis fan, then whatever. This is like a
Yeah.
dream come
It's a
true.
good
Now, obviously, he's
opportunity.
not playing. That sucks for you. But
Right.
like as far as like your wallet's concerned,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like you're like, yeah, baby. Like I might be able to get like a couple of different of these parallels that were way out of reach now. Maybe they fall to something here, right?
Yeah. That's where I'm
Like,
screwed right now because Şengün was like killing it
yep,
in the Turkish league over the
yep.
summer, and they just I mean it's just been all over. You know, it's like been everywhere. And his cards are like going through the roof. I'm like, Jesus, man, I get no rest. You know what I mean? I'm paying like
Well,
top
and
dollar
plus
for his
you talk
parallel.
about him on your channel, bro. So then
Well, that's the other
you got
problem too. I got to stop
you
doing
get
that.
eyeballs on your channel. Like I learned that. Like, and I don't have nearly the views you do, but like I if I'm gonna talk about like a specific card that I like or something that I see that's undervalued,
You
I'll talk
snag a few
about the
first.
set. Talk about the set, but then I'll talk about like three other guys in the set. I won't talk about the guys I'm looking at because you never know, man. All it
Yeah,
takes is one guy to mess up your day,
yeah.
or girl, or girl.
So do you think this Tatis situation is just it's only for the meantime? Like while he's
So
suspended, we're gonna see his prices go down. Once he comes back up, cracks a few homers, does a couple of amazing things, and then it's like right back on the Tatis train.
let me ask you this question:
Hmm.
Do the Astros still sell out their home games?
Every single one.
They cheated like mofos, buddy.
Come
Like
on, man.
dude, that picture of Altuve with the goddamn like buzzer on his damn shoulder, like he might as well have had Bob Barker like hanging on his thing, like, hey, come on down, you've got a fastball. Like, so my like the thing is this, man, like the San Diego market, as soon as he comes back and hits a first 450-foot home run, everybody's going to stand up. Yeah, see, there you go. Everybody's going to stand up cheering, and that's going to be the end of it. And
Yeah.
he may now, does his national market take a hit? Maybe, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Like, I just think we've become so accustomed to this, and I also think this is the other thing too, dude. Like, baseball's got a real problem because it's not a popular game for the kids.
Yeah,
It's boring.
it's hard. It's hard to watch.
So
Yeah.
like I care about baseball, but you don't watch baseball. You're my age. You don't
Yeah.
watch baseball like I do, right?
Yeah.
And so like the people like me that are like could watch like a random Pirates whatever game or a Red
Yeah.
Sox Tampa Bay that means nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they're few and far between in the youth. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So
Agreed.
like I don't know if it's that big of like news, right? If this came
Yeah.
out like LeBron James cheated in every game and da da da, da and there was
Uh,
evidence of it and
that's a
whatever,
big deal.
dude,
Yeah. Yeah.
the NBA would have a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Um, but hell, there's rumors of Michael Jordan being suspended for gambling, right?
Yeah.
That's why he went and played baseball. Some like to speculate he was suspended and Stern just didn't want to say it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could that be true? Yeah, but listen, you know what I mean? Like
Right. It's
baseball to me.
controversy no matter what, right? I mean, ultimately it's controversy, right?
And I think it is, but I think like we've become like as baseball fans, we almost have come to expect that every year people are going to get popped for PED use, whether it's a pitcher, whether it's a hit, whatever, right?
Right.
Someone's getting popped, whether it's A ball, double A ball, whatever, pros. Is
Right.
it some scrub? Is it some middle reliever, or is it Fernando Tatis Jr.?
Right.
So you have the initial like Twitter blows up, Instagram blows up, Bleacher Report goes bananas. Everybody, his cards, sell them all. Every Facebook group out there is selling Tatis,
Right.
and I would be willing to bet by Christmas, no one's going to talk about Fernando Tatis Jr.
Period.
No
Because
one's
he's
going to
not
talk about him.
playing and he's yeah.
Baseball's over. It's not like he's
Yeah.
a free agent. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it'll just go away, and then when he starts to come back, and then I'm telling you, The first time he goes on a hot streak and hits 5 or 6 home runs in a week, trust me,
Right back up.
everybody will forget about whatever the hell happened, especially Padres fans.
What's crazy though is that, like, I think also the climate that we're in the market, you don't see like these big swings anymore.
Now,
Right? Like,
nope.
because I'll never forget, man, one of the craziest things I ever saw, and I love basketball. I watch basketball. I watch
Yep.
basketball like you watch baseball, right?
Yep.
And so I'll catch a random, Pelicans versus the Suns game that means nothing
Sure.
in the grand scheme. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm watching it because I love the game. And so I'll never forget. I was watching the Denver Nuggets and watch freaking Bowl, like do this like amazing 3-play sequence of events.
Yeah, making it rain.
And then all of a sudden his card prices just started going bananas.
Bananas.
I mean, insane, absolutely insane.
Yep.
And I thought to myself,
Yep.
holy crap, you don't see that anymore, right? Because I think everybody that's left, coming out of the madness that was the industry 18 months ago, everybody that's still here right now, has a lot more sensibility to them. They're in this for
Yep.
the long haul, right? They're real fans of the games that
Yep.
they're investing in and they're watching and things like that, which is another thing we'll get into in a second. But you're just not going to see that level of swing anymore, because I feel like there's a more informed collector that has stuck around. It's not the flipper anymore. They're
Yeah.
still going to be flipping, right? But it's not the guy
Yep.
that's here strictly to flip and has zero attachments to these slabs other than assets to be, flipped or arbitrage. They don't, there's still some people like that, but there ain't as many as there was. And I think
Right.
because of that is the reason why, regardless of the fact that this was an 80 game suspension for Tatis, that we only saw his card drop down $20.
Right.
And it might drop
Right.
down another 10 or 15, but it's not going to go from $120 to a $10 card.
Right. And some of that was going to be natural drop no matter what he did anyway, because there's 750,000 different rookie cards of the guy. So you can't
overprinting.
It's almost like physically impossible to collect all of his cards, because you literally it's like a full-time job trying to collect these cards.
Trying to get them.
But like, to go back to what you were saying a little bit, COVID was like the perfect storm of everything, right? And I know everybody's talked about COVID,
right?
But nobody had a thing to do because you couldn't go anywhere,
right?
Other than, and then when they started to bring back like the NBA and this and that, dude, it was the greatest thing ever. I literally was getting paid to sit in my house, do nothing but watch sports and speculate. I was like, God, why isn't this not my job?
Yeah. And then stimulus checks.
But and then you get the stimulus checks. But then on top of that, right, you had people come into this space that had a platform or built a platform quickly.
Yeah.
And a little bit of knowledge sometimes is very dangerous, right? So when you take a little bit of knowledge and you scream it from the mountaintops, and you have hundreds of thousands of followers, millions of followers, thousands of followers, and people that are our age that are coming back in, and the nostalgia bug hit them. They don't know any better, but they know this guy because they follow him for their real estate, or they follow him for this or that, or whatever.
Right.
Oh, well, this guy, he's got like 6,000 subs. He told me to go out and buy Robert Ory error cards because they're going to be worth like $300, right?
And then off to the races.
And there you go. Yeah. And then, like, so those people, you don't hear from them
anymore.
You don't.
They're gone.
So
I mean,
has the hobby went bananas, right? It exploded. Everybody and their mother was in. It was like being a kid all over again. There was card shops popping up. It was great. I thought it was great. But now what you're seeing, some of these card shops have closed. They remind me of like those like pop-up firework tents at the 4th of July. You know, like they're there and then they're gone. But the ones that have stayed and the people that have stayed are I feel in this as true like collectors. They believe in it. Like I consider myself a collector slash investor. I always say that because if you're spending money, if I'm spending money on a card, whatever it is, man, like I'm thinking that either A, it's good value and it's going to go up, or B, I'm collecting that because long term, I know it's something for my kid that he can have and say, oh, dad had this. Hopefully he likes it. Right. But
Yeah.
my daughter definitely does. But like there's a lot of really good stuff that goes on in this hobby, in this space, that now needs to start taking over all the crap that we had to like go through and like, and I get it, man, because it's a learning curve, right? Like people come back in, they're like, oh, I know I'm a Red Sox guy. Like I know the Red Sox. I don't need you to tell me anything about the Red Sox, right? But I also know baseball. I don't really. I don't want to sound like a know-it-all, but like the guys in the pros, for the most part, I know them. I don't know the guys in the minor leagues, but I have buddies that's all they do is prospect, and they'll be like, "Yo, dude, uh, Adley Rutschman, get his cards." I'm like, "Who the hell is Adley Rutschman?" Like, trust me, get his cards. Julio Rodriguez, get his cards. I'm like, all right. And I trust these guys. So I was buying their stuff. And then I was like, oh, all right. Now I know who these, I reacclimated myself with that because I used to be a big Bowman guy. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. And then like, I'm like, and then I'm down that rabbit hole again. And I'm like, son of a bitch. I don't
Now you're
why am I,
prospecting again.
why am I doing this? Like,
What is that?
but I, to tie it all together, man, I think like we've navigated that huge explosion, and what you're seeing now is a return to normalcy, right? And I what I also think though too, I heard your boy Ty say this on his him and Mike there. I don't know what the hell's that show they have
on the fly.
Yeah. He was talking about like at the National how there was many more like businesses this year than any year prior.
Yeah.
And I thought he made a fantastic point. These things take time.
Yeah.
And especially in like the tech side, trust me, I know. Unless you have millions of dollars or venture capitalists backing you up or some huge like dad with deep pockets or something.
Yeah.
It takes time to develop and work out the bugs and come to market and this and that.
Oh, yeah.
So I think where you're going to continue to see that growth now, it may not be in card prices, but in businesses and markets
and the
and things like
infrastructure
that.
around the hobby.
Yep. That's where I think the next little boom is going to occur. If it, and it's already occurring, like every day something new comes to market. And I think that's really cool because it's innovative and it's things are always improving upon the next company's improving upon the next company and this and that. And it keeps everybody on their toes. And eventually you're gonna, the cream will rise to the top and then everybody else will whatever. But there's a lot of money that's been spent on a lot of either in investments or out of personal whatever. And these guys and girls and companies need to see this stuff through and prove, concepts and things like that. And that's where I think you're going to see sort of, and again, there's no card hedge doesn't track that, card ladder doesn't track that, eBay doesn't track that, right?
But it's
at the
all
National,
to service the hobby though, right? I mean, like that's like I mean, you say card ladder and card hedge, they don't track that, but what you guys do track is the cards, and the cards are the hobby, right? And if you build infrastructure for the hobby itself, then you're just propping up the hobby in general, and that's good for everybody.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
100%. And I think too, like with the amount of data that's available today, and again, I'd love for everybody to use Card Hedge. It'd be great. But
link in the description.
I'm probably one of the worst like pitchmen because I don't like I obviously believe in what we've built, but at the same time, I don't know. That's not me. I'm not a car salesman kind of thing. You know what I mean? But like I look at it and I'm like, there's no reason why you can't make an educated decision now with whatever pricing tool,
There's a lot of tools out
eBay,
there.
like there's just so much out there now for consumers to pick from that, hey, you no matter what though, right? Even if you have Card Hedge or Market Movers or vintage card prices or you use Terapeak or whatever it is, you still can't predict the future.
No.
And what you have to do though is whatever you buy, if you're buying Tatis now because you think his prices are going to go back up someday, and they probably will. I'd bet $20 on that.
Yeah.
Then you have to be okay with wherever you're purchasing it at, that if it does go down, it's not going to kill you.
Yeah.
But if it goes up, it's not going to go up like it used to, where again, you were buying cards on eBay or Facebook, and by the time they showed up in the mail, they were triple.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. Now, sure, it could happen on some of the stuff, right?
Like but those days are gone though.
Right.
Those days are gone.
They are, but there's always that guy. There's always that hype beast every year. There's always going to be a hype guy every year. Wait till LeBron James kid hits the NBA.
Oh,
wait until that happens.
Yeah.
Wait. Mark, I don't even have to say it. Everybody knows that. Wait until Bronny gets a rookie card.
Yeah.
Watch out. The hype machine will be, and if they do this NIL stuff, those things are going to go through the roof.
Yeah.
So,
did you see that tweet that I put out today for the coldest?
Yes. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yep.
I love that NIL stuff, man. That's so dope,
man.
guys, man.
I think it's great. I really do, because these universities are they're printing money,
billions,
printing. Yeah. And I always used to laugh because like people be like, well, if you want to go to wherever, they have a great this. I'm like, well, how the hell do you think they got that?
Yeah.
Like Michigan doesn't have good like engineering because they won the science fair, bro. There's 110,000 people losing their goddamn minds every Saturday over at the big house.
Exactly.
That's how you get all the other crap. Right. Alabama. Was it, come on. Like,
what movie was that where he's like, I think it was on The Program where he was like, 50,000 people aren't showing up to watch somebody take a test.
Yeah, no, it's the truth. Like, that's not how it works. So like
one of the best football movies ever, by the way.
What, The Program?
The Program.
Dude, remember when that movie came out and everybody was mimicking the friggin' laying down in the road scene?
Yeah.
Like, what do you like? God, to be a kid again, right?
Oh man,
that was great line. Time to put the women and children to bed.
Yeah, that's right. Oh man, good stuff. Yo, if y'all haven't seen The Program, do yourself a favor.
Yeah, you got to check it out. For sure. And then also, since we're talking baseball, and I think we're going to end baseball here, not any, but the first two major leagues are classic. Major League One, Major
League 1 and 2. Okay, yeah.
Absolutely, two of the greatest movies ever made. Like, unbelievable. Love that.
Moneyball for me was an interesting one.
Great, and that's interesting because that was the start of where the game has gone. And like for me, right up in New England, like the fans are killing the GM, Chaim Bloom, because we are a major market team with the most, if not the most, like top 2 or 3 expensive ticket on the planet to go to a baseball game. And we signed me and you and like 3 other dudes that are watching this right now to like be our pitching staff. Okay. Juan Soto becomes available, and as far as we know up here, nobody kicked the tires on what it would take. Like, I'd offer up Liverpool. Like, hey, you just sell Liverpool to the Nationals or trade them Liverpool for Juan Soto. It's worth it. You just bought the stupid Pittsburgh Penguins. Like, why you didn't go down the road and knock on the owners of the Bruins door and just buy the Bruins, you morons.
That's hilarious.
You bought the Penguins. You got LeBron James as one of your ownership partners. What are you doing? How does that happen?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How did you not kick the tires?
God, that's just whatever.
You're turning red, brother. You're turning red.
Yeah, I'm getting all pissed, man. Because it drives me insane, man.
Get all
Like,
fired up.
I can't even take my kids. Like, I took my twins for their birthday right before COVID to the Sox. All in, dude. I paid face value tickets from my buddy, parked, food, the whole nine. Dude, it was almost $1,000 for 3 of us.
Jesus.
$1,000.
That hurts, man.
The only thing that came out of that made the $1,000 worth it was I shook Roger Clemens' hand. That
Well,
was
come
it.
on now.
That was worth it for me. Like,
I mean,
I love that guy. I don't care what he did. He was an animal. I love him, and it was like a fantastic moment for me.
Good seats.
I don't care if my kids had a good time. It was a great day for me.
But I mean, like, you paid face value for the tickets.
Yeah, you know what? The other thing too, they played the Phillies. It was an interleague game, so it was cool. I get to see Bryce Harper, but for whatever reason, all the box I was sitting in, dude, was all Phillies fans. I was like, what is going on here? Like, I'm with my kids. Like, these people are losing their minds. I'm like, oh my God. Like, the Phillies kicked the crap out of the Red Sox too that night. I was like, what a kick in the nuts. But then I met the Rocket, and that was
I met the Rocket. You can't be mad at that.
No.
That's hilarious.
Plus, he's huge, man. God, he's a huge man.
Dude, they're like massive. So my first run that I went on for baseball, right? I mean, and you and I have talked about this because I reached out to you. I started picking up Yordan Alvarez.
Yep.
Because I saw him and I was like, this guy is not human. There's no way in hell that you're gonna sit here and tell me that me and that man right there are the same species.
Yeah, no.
You're just not. You're not telling me that. Because that man is a walking, talking giant.
Yeah, he's a brick shit house, and you're like
massive, JD.
Yeah.
I'm not a big guy. I'm 5'8", 5'9" on a good day if I put on some good shoes. This guy was towering over me. I saw him at the airport. And when I remember I got home that day and I messaged you right away and I go, hey man, I need to buy some of this guy's rookie cards.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's good or not,
and he's a stud, right? He's a stud. And he gets zero love
because he's on Astros.
But even at that, like, he was never, he's guilty by association because he plays for the Astros, right? Yeah. And he's got a little bit of the injury bug. But other than that, when the man plays, he is an absolute monster. Yeah. And I think, like, for him, the base stuff is I'd avoid it because there's just so much of it.
Right.
But like some of the autos and things like that, and you get into some of the refractors and whatnot, man, like that's a solid buy. He's a good player. If he stays healthy and hits for another 10 years, you're gonna look at his career and go, holy shit, this guy's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, exactly.
But,
I was gonna say.
But there's a lot of ifs there. He's got to stay healthy.
Yeah, he's got to stay healthy. Well, there's one big if is that he's got to stay healthy.
Right. And he's got his knee, so that's tough. When you're a big bastard and your knees go, it's your shelf life is pretty short at that point. Yeah. So is he going to be a Hall of Famer? Probably not. But if he stays healthy,
I was picking up refractor PSA 10 refractors on Mercari for like $15.
Yeah, crazy.
Crazy. You couldn't even get them graded for that much.
Crazy. Yep. And that's the thing too, man. Like some of these things now, the price to grade, and I don't care where it is, the price to grade is going to cost you more than if you just bought the damn card yourself.
Yeah, graded.
Right. So
I had a perfect.
Like, I'm not a big fan of the PSA inflation, so I'm not going to ever pay that stuff. And if I can find that card in a either raw or something else, but the cycle of the hobby, man, like back in like 2008, 2010, raw cards were oftentimes the same price or more than PSA 9s. Like that whole PSA 9 phenomenon was like a relatively new thing. And now what you're seeing again is the raw card is going back to that more than a PSA 9 on certain cards, right?
Right.
Because you're still in your mind, you're gambling because you're like, I can get a PSA 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You already know it's a 9 or an 8, so whatever. Yeah, I don't want that card.
Yeah.
But you also can play the game on those 9s. If you buy them for $20-$30, dude, I'd be willing to bet that if you bought 10 9s and sent them back, cracked them and sent them back in,
a couple of them coming back 10s.
3 or 4 10s.
Yeah.
And then you've made money.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So anyway,
video that I got coming out, or I guess by the time I post this, it'll be Saturday. So it came out Thursday. Where I basically cracked. I did a video where I cracked every slab. I cracked SGC, PSA, CSG, BGS, and an HGA. I cracked 5 slabs total to see which one took the longest to crack. And 2 of those cards I'm sending back for regrades. And one of them was that HGA 9 Luka Doncic rookie card, Prism base rookie card. And I mean, for a 9, I paid like 118 or 110 bucks for my 9. I mean, I'm sending that just to get reslabbed in a SGC just because I used the slab for for the video. That thing comes back a 9.5 or a 10. I mean, we're talking $200-$300.
Yep.
I mean, you're flipping it right away. Here's another one right here. I mean, Luka Doncic, this is a PSA 8. His sticker, which if you know anything about these stickers, man, they're freaking hard as hell.
Yeah.
To get to keep straight because of just the packaging, the way the package they come in and stuff. So an 8 on a card like this is phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. And I think I paid $15.
I just did that on PWCC a couple weeks ago. And PWCC, one of the things, and I did a whole video on this, talked about it. And one of the things that PWCC rules at is their imaging. So when they list a card, that image has been done by like the Hubble telescope, man. You can you can see the damn cardboard threads. It's crazy. So I'm looking at the cards. I'm going through and I see a David Pasternak 2014 SPX auto rookie card out of 199, PSA 6. So I'm like, huh. So I pull it up. I start looking at the images and I'm like, how the hell is this a 6? Like, I couldn't see a crease, like whatever. I ended up getting the card for dirt cheap. I'm talking dirt cheap.
Yeah.
I got it. I had him immediately send it to me. I got it home when it came in the mail. I looked at it. I'm like, yeah, no, this is not a PSA 6. So I sent it to Bobbles. I'm like, because I don't trust myself cracking it. I'll slip and cut the card in half. So he cracked it. He's like, yeah, dude, this is not a 6. I just got it back. It's an SGC 910 auto. Like,
what?
3 grade improvement. 3 grade. There was no way this was a 6.
I actually had one like that. I did that on the Allen Iverson.
For me, I'm not going to sell that card because I collect Bruins guys, and Pasternak's just a friggin' animal. But like, that's the kind of stuff, like, if you start taking advantage of it, like, that's why if you put, in my opinion, if you put crappy images up on eBay or wherever it is, you're selling your cards and there's glare and whatever, I can't see the card crystal clear, I'm not buying it because to me, you're hiding something, right? Like, either that or you're just a dope. Take the 2 seconds it takes to take a nice picture with no glare and then post your card.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get better business that way. And I think PWCC has mastered that, like fully mastered that, where you can get on there, man, and find deals. So anyway.
Is it free to sign up for PWCC? I might have to go
PWCC is free. PWCC is free. And now that everybody hopped on the vault train, like, you can, and they have like deals like with BGS and SGC, not SGC, CSG to grade cards. You can grade cards, send them there. They send them out to grade 10 days back. They go in the weekly listing. And the key is you got to make sure you send cards that are going to sell for more than what it costs to grade, right? Because it's like $20,
right,
which they take out of the final sale price. So if you grade a card for 20 and it sells for 25,
yeah, you get the nickel.
Out of luck.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm about to sign up for that because that's that's something that I do too, man. Like anything PSA 5, PSA 6, PSA 7, with a serial number that starts with a 6.
Yep.
That you like you said, you got good images you can see, and you can be like, oh man, there's no way.
Right.
Now don't get me wrong, I've bought a few and I've been burned, like
Yeah.
where I got it and I was like, I see why this was a 6.
Right.
Then
And that,
okay, you're gonna get toasted on those,
human error, right, man? People make like none of these companies are perfect.
no,
So people miss things and whatever else,
yeah.
right? And I don't care who it is, they all miss things. I've had things graded by SGC that came back not graded, and I'm like, what the hell? It's the same size card as the other damn card. I crack it, send it back, and it gets like a 4. And I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
But like, whatever. They're all just,
it's all humans,
just like you
man.
and me, man.
Yeah, they're humans. Yeah. It's all humans.
The only thing I'll say is there's definitely on some of these cards, I don't care where it goes, there's definitely things that go on. I don't care. There's pop control, there's whatever.
Oh, for
That's
sure.
that's a real thing. Like 100%, right?
Yeah, I agree.
But like my buddy just sent in a 92 Upper Deck International Shaq rookie French version. Hardest card, one of his hardest cards to get graded.
That's a solid
He
card.
just got, after however many years it's been, 30 something years that card's been out, the first PSA 10 of that card. So it can't happen. Pop one. So big card, and if that registry holds its value, some Shaq collector out there is going to pay big bucks for that card. So good for him.
Yeah.
But like again, it's all, to me, it's just grading is a subjective process. You use who you use, and you move on with your day, right?
I'm with you.
Bobbles
had a really good. Bobbles did a really good video on that.
Yeah, the one he just did recently. Yeah.
That was a good video.
Yeah,
not because I was in it, but
no, that was you lit the internet on fire after your video. Christ, I was like, holy shit, this guy, he's out there right now.
But I said it. I did give a disclaimer at the beginning, though. I did do a disclaimer. I said this video is going to piss off a lot of people, and it did.
But I think, and you and I talked about it offline, right? If you had mentioned too, after the pissing people off thing up with, I'm looking at this through my eyes,
through my lens,
how I would try to, I'm looking to buy. This is how I do things,
right?
But whatever, who cares?
Yeah. Everybody's like,
I love when I make videos, man, and then like I get all these comments of like, well, actually, it's this, or actually, it's that, and you said this wrong, and I'm like, buddy, I'm on my laptop in my office trying to have a little bit of me time. Like, no one's bothering me right now. Like, I don't have a teleprompter in front of me here. Like,
I'm going off the top of the dome.
You know what I mean? Like, hell yeah, I'm going to make mistakes. That's expect that. You know what I mean?
100%.
Whatever.
I think the moment that's like an important thing to like really make sure that, because sanity wise, I wouldn't make it sanity wise if I scrutinize myself in that manner. I mean, the way I do content is, you and I have talked about this before. There ain't nothing in front of me here, man. I'm off the top of the head, right? And so, I mean, I'll say, and listen, I just dropped the video today, where I changed my mind about some shit.
Right.
Listen, I mean, to not change your mind in the face of new evidence or in the face of a, dynamic market or something like that, you'd be stupid not to. So it's just, it is what it is, man. Anyway, brother, I'm not gonna lock you up for too much longer, man. We're hitting right up on an hour, which is kind of the sweet spot of these kind of things, man. We're gonna this is a thing now. We're married to this now. Because this,
hey, man, whatever. I'm in. I'm in. It saves me from having to make my own video, so I'm all for it, man. I just click the link and I'm here.
A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff coming up, man.
How about we do this, right? How about we do this? Because I know the other question we wanted to talk about, right? How about we do this? Because that's going to take another hour.
Yeah, you're right.
Next week, we're going to talk about something that I think is actually really cool. Omar asked me this question, and I thought about it for a good week, and it's a really good question. How much knowledge do you have to have of a certain sport to collect cards in that genre?
Yeah.
So we'll leave that there.
Yep.
And
Perfect.
I think that's a good way to wrap it up. And that's, next week's show, baby. Because I think that's a good one. You know what I mean?
I think it
that's
is,
a
man.
real good topic. So
Yeah.
thank you for having me, man.
A lot of variables there. I think we're gonna have a good conversation about it.
Yep, for sure. For sure.
Sounds good, brother. Thank you as always, man, for jumping on,
Absolutely.
hanging out, getting away from the kids for a little bit. I know that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
All right, brother. We'll catch you next week. Yeah.
All right, man. Sounds good. Thank you.